Okay, this is Steve with the New Money Fight Club. I'm here with the Sensei of CMMA. This is Mr. Chad George. Thank you for taking the time out. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Stoked to be here.
Good to talk to you again. So you got a really busy school. You guys are definitely one of the winningest schools, I think, on the UNF roster. Every time I go to a UNF event, there's tons of CMMA guys, pros and rising stars, and you always seem to win.
Yeah, I think it's just a testament to what we are doing as an academy. I don't like to look at it as that we're a winningest. I think it's just what we do. We are a real competitive gym, and we aren't here to just partake. We make a lifestyle out of this, and this is what my approach has always been, especially for the athletes. I want them to take this is the way you have to go into this, as if you are trying to become the best in the world. Because fighting, there is no room for not trying to go that avenue, because if not, you're going to get hurt. This is not a game where you can just kind of do it. You're going to face a guy who this is their life, that this is their way out of a tougher life and a tougher situation. So you're going to be facing those guys. And, for me, this is the approach of from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, having a championship mentality in everything that you do. And it's been translating pretty well.
So when a fighter wants to come and join your team, I assume you have classes open to the public, but then you have your fight team too. And if they want to be on that team, there's requirements. They have to show up. You have some rules around attendance and things like that. Is that true?
Yeah, so we have a bit of an onboarding process. So we're never really actually recruiting because we want to make sure, number one, that you're a good fit for the team. I don't care if you're a world champion. I don't care what gym you came from or what accolades you have. You have to be able to fit in our environment. So we have an onboarding process, and that onboarding process usually starts with you going into our actual group classes, because I want to see where your skill sets are. Maybe if you do have certain accolades, you are able to come into our fight team program, but it's not like you can just come in and show up. You can come to these days. We will assess it, do the onboarding process, which is usually a 3-month onboarding for us to make sure it's a good fit for both of us.
Just to sort of orientate and just to get a sense of the guy.
Correct, yeah. Yep, you got it. So, and a lot of guys, because, we get called up all the time, hey, I want to join the fight team. It's like, well, easy. Like, what's your experience level, blah, blah, blah. And part of the weeding out process is like, show up to the night classes. Let me see how you do in a public class. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Well, that already tells me you're not a good fit. So for me, I don't care about working with guys that just want to be in the environment. I want to work with guys that have the ability to be coachable and to be able to help our athletes so we can work as a collective.
Right, because they're all going to help each other as it goes. Yeah, I'd really like to hear that. Yeah, we have the team, my group for the podcast, we've often said, like, because we come from the Bay Area, like, one of these times we come down for a fight, we would like to maybe drop in at CMMA and train, just see what's going on over there. If you'll have us drop in for a night class, I wouldn't mind,
Yeah, you guys are always welcome. That's what I always tell everybody. Look, our group, our team, our academy is a community. Yeah. So for people, when they're traveling and out of town, we're like, hey, come try a class. We don't do drop-in fees for anybody that are coming. Like, I want people just to come in and share martial arts together. Yeah. And people come in all the time. And I think it's amazing because it creates an atmosphere of building each other. And that's really what I think martial arts is about. And it's a complete sidestep from when I started fighting. In the beginning, I was like, I'm not a martial artist. I'm a fighter. I'll beat those guys' ass. Mm-hmm. Those guys are pussies. And over the years, I realized, like, man, that is such a terrible, terrible way of thinking, because there's no longevity in that. But with martial arts and being able to be community driven, that is a whole different thing. That's something that you could take for the rest of your life, and you can empower others with it.
Wow, that's beautiful. And it really speaks, when I see your fighters in there, they're always they're all gentlemen. I've even, like, David Rojas had that fight with all that bad blood, people talking trash, and they keep their calm. The mindset of your fighters is really, really honed. I see them very poised, and they carry themselves really well before the fight and even after the fight.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that we focus on at the academy is the mind. I'd say that's probably the number one thing, even over technical training, because you have two choices. You have a choice of being proactive or reactive. And that comes down to the way you transition with everything in life, right? Being reactive, 90% of the time is going to give you a negative result. Being proactive is going to be where you can actually take that information and apply it to what you're doing and have a set idea of, okay, this is what I'm looking to do. But a lot of times the guys that go fight, they get like the Rojas fight, you let the emotions get under your skin. Now you're being reactive. You're not doing what you wanted to do. In fact, you're doing what they wanted you to do. And so we spend more time learning the aspect of how can I be proactive about this. Like with David, it was like, hey, let him be emotional. You have a job to do. Right?
Yeah, the more he's getting emotional, the less headspace he has.
Correct. Yes, exactly. And so that's probably the biggest aspect that we spend every day in the gym is working on the mind.
Wow, and it really does show. Let's take a quick look because we've got a big list of fighters here, and you've got quite a few that are going to be on the next few cards. And I'd just like to run down really quick so you can give us a little breakdown. So we just talked to Diego Perez. Bad man,
He's a
right?
bad dude.
And mindset, big thing for him. It just really shows when I talk to him. Seems like a very traditional martial arts mindset, and he's been around a long time. Anything you want to mention about him?
No, Diego's just one of those guys that he came to us a couple years ago, and he was very, very talented martial artist. Just needed to add a few more tools to his toolbox. And now it's great because now he believes that he can do these things, and it's really shown in his last performances. Yeah,
he's a cool guy. I really enjoyed talking to him. I'm really looking forward to that one. His opponent seems like a real game opponent as well, so that's going to be great. And then of course we mentioned David Rojas.
Yep, David,
outstanding rising star.
Yeah, he came to us. Same thing. He's one of our newer recruits, but it was one of those things. He did have to go through our onboarding process, and so this is his second fight with us, and the kid's really got a bright future.
Absolutely, yeah. And what we saw, the way he handled that pressure when that fight with Langarica. Go back and watch that one. It's a great fight.
Well, and what's interesting about that is that before he came to us, he is definitely an emotional guy too. So that was a big transition for him, learning how to control those emotions in a very relatively short amount of time because he hadn't been with me that long. It was one of those things, the fight was already set. And he was like, hey, can I come train with you for this fight? I'm like, well, normally we don't do that, especially for amateur. For pros is different. Pros can come in and do a camp with us and whatever. But amateurs, I really don't have any desire to take on guys when they're already locked into a fight because we have no relationship with each other. But for this one, it was a little bit different. And man, he just really just stuck to our program, and he bought into it. And it's really cool to see.
Yeah, that was great to see the whole build up of that one and then watch how he handled it. And obviously the mindset coaching came into full effect there in that one. Help him get the W. Who else we got here on your team? Anthony Romero, right?
No, he's
excuse
not
me.
mine,
Sorry.
yeah.
Oh, Gabriel.
Jabril.
Excuse me. So I don't know much about him. He's just this like wonder kid, right?
So he's a young kid. He's originally from France. And he's a kickboxer. I mean, he's got a very extensive kickboxing and Muay Thai background. Fought in Glory and Lion fights.
But he's real young, right?
Yeah. I think he's 22 or something like that.
And he's already a Glory veteran and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a very, very talented kickboxer.
What's his weight?
Well, he's fighting at 125 pounds, and he's actually sorry about that. He's actually a little guy too. So I mean, he walks around like 133 pounds, little guy, but he can pack a punch.
Yeah, he seems like a mean man. All right, well, I'm looking forward to that one for sure. And then who else we got on here?
On this side, so Desmond Alvarado, but he's not going to be on this one.
Desmond's not on this card.
No, yeah.
And there was one other one.
Garrett
Williams, yeah.
Garrett hasn't put anything booked yet.
Johnny Tuna. So Johnny's the man. Incredible kickboxer. His last fight was slick, real slick. And then he's going to be fighting for the belt.
Yeah, so Johnny's one of those kids, he came to us as a kickboxer, and that's kind of a ongoing thing. And a lot of guys come to us that want to add their grappling. We're predominantly known as a grappling gym.
Your background is like primarily BJJ, right?
No, I'm a wrestler first.
You're a wrestler
I'm a wrestler first, but
you got a black belt and everything.
I do. I have a black belt in jiu-jitsu, second degree. But I mean, I've competed in hundreds and hundreds of jiu-jitsu matches.
In different arts too, right?
Wrestling.
Yeah. But you're a wrestler. You think that's kind of the queen piece on the board?
I would say that our gym is predominantly a wrestling-based academy because of the pressure.
Javier Mendez says at AKA, American Kickboxing Academy, wrestling is the queen piece for MMA.
100%, because you have to be able to deal with the pressure. And I think that's what wrestling teaches us. It teaches us to know that no matter how long is in that match, you have to be engaged in pressure. You can't just be in it for like, oh, I'm dominating this guy. No. You have to be okay with the pressure back and forth.
Proactive on it. Yeah.
There you go. And it goes back to that, right? You can't be reactive. And so I mean, our style, a lot of guys come to us, a lot of strikers come to us because they want to add that to their game. They want to stop being afraid of the pressure of a grappler. And Johnny's one of those kids now. Now he's taking down high-level wrestlers.
He's going to be a monster.
He just won the WCK national Muay Thai title.
Yeah, he won a Muay Thai belt.
And I think he was fighter of the year for WCK. He went over to, where was it, Indiana, and fought for Art of Scrap out there. Won their title, and he got knockout of the year for them. and then did what he did with UNF. So he's one of those kids that he's a problem everywhere. He's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu now. His wrestling has gotten good.
Too nice. Johnny, too nice. Yeah. Really looking forward to that one. And, just it's great to finally have a little longer conversation with just you because, your energy and your wisdom, you're attracting some of the best to your school. It's obvious. And you guys, win, loss, whatever, your team is just fantastic and a real shining star, of all the different schools that are fighting on these up next cards. Yeah. So yeah, Chad, George, really appreciate talking with you again, man. New Money Fight Club. We're out.